Wait, there's something very weak coming through.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Todd Hoffman, and this is WSTR Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 77. Today, we're going to revisit A New Hope with a special guest, Jack Hoffman. Joining me in the discussion today is Miss Heather Allred.
Hey, everybody.
Mr. Aaron Julian.
Hello, everyone. Good to be back.
And our special guest, Jack Hoffman.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you have no choice.
But
I
Todd,
have no choice.
You have
That's
no
right.
choice.
But Todd, who is this mysterious and elusive Jack Hoffman?
Well, if you might not know because of the name, it's my father. So,
Hooray!
So yeah,
the reason this is all
stopping
happening
by.
now, so.
Yeah, exactly. This is the reason it's all happening. So, so we'll talk to Mr. Jack Hoffman in a minute, but yes, it's awesome that he's here today. So you can check us out at the social medias at WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. You can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. You could also leave us a voicemail, 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. And you can also catch all our back catalog of episodes at www.wstrmedia.com. And this podcast is brought to you by Audible. You can get your free Audible book and download a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/WSTR. They have 180,000 titles. You can choose from your iPhone, Android, Kindle, MP3 player, any kind of device you want to listen to Audible book. For our listeners, you can get a free Audible audiobook by downloading the free trial. And again, that is at audibletrial.com/WSTR. Aaron, did you recently finish something on Audible?
I did.
Okay.
I mentioned it a while ago, but I had started Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn through Audible. Kind of put it off, but finally got around to it.
Yeah.
And I finished it this week.
Nice.
So it is tremendous. I think it's Mark Thompson who does all the voices, including a Wookiee with a speech impediment that enables him to speak English.
There you go.
It's quite interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
He also does a somewhat passable Princess Leia. So there you go. Yeah, Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn.
Awesome.
So Todd, why don't we go on to our main topic?
Okay.
And now for our feature presentation.
All right, so if you haven't catch us, it's episode 77. So a little-known movie called Star Wars came out in May 25th, 1977. If you want to hear our play-by-play commentary, you have to go way back to episode 23. You can check out, we watched A New Hope, the uncut master edition of A New Hope, way back.
Despecialized.
Yeah, despecialized edition. It made $307 million when it came out, about 1.5 like opening weekend. It, kind of kicked some tail. It also, for Star Wars in the Academy Awards, it was nominated for 10 nominations and won 7 of them. So it got Best Original Music Score, Best Visual Effects, Best Sound Mixing, Best Production Design, Best Film Editing, Best Costume Design, and even a special achievement to Mr. Ben Burt for all the sound effects. The only ones that it didn't win...
That's a lot of Oscars.
That's a lot of Oscars. It didn't win Best Picture, didn't win Best Director, and the other one it was nominated for was Original Screenplay. So those are the 3 it didn't win. So, but it's,
what is that number in today's dollars? That 300.
Oh yeah, it's.
I mean,
I'm on it.
Yeah,
you're on it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's it's probably with the inflation, it's probably a little bit more than 300 million. So yeah, it's a lot for sure. What do you think, Aaron? What do you got?
Our live archivists going through the records.
Yeah.
It's asking for amounts less than 10 million.
Okay.
So give me just 1 second. We're a professional podcast.
Right, exactly.
We like to, it's like a cooking show. We like to have this all just raring and ready to go. So 10 million back then is about 41.7 million today.
All right.
So I guess multiply that by what, 30?
30.7.
Yeah.
So we're talking about like 1.2, 1.3 billion.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not bad.
That's a lot of moolah.
It's not too bad, right? It's not too bad. All right.
Not too shabby.
Yeah. All right. So like I said earlier, we have Jack Hoffman with us. So why don't you tell us like how you got into science fiction? Like what were some of your interests?
Okay. Well, it actually started back when I was in junior high. I remember.
Did they have cars back then? Or
yes, they had cars. We actually had
Just
running water and electricity where I grew up.
Right.
But back in junior high, I remember going to the library at the school I was at, and I picked up a book by Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Okay.
And it was the John Carter Mars chronology.
Okay. Yeah.
And I started that, and I was hooked.
Oh wow.
I read everything I could by Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Okay.
And then I progressed. I don't really remember reading too much more until out of high school.
Okay.
Because I was into sports and everything else then. But read Lord of the Rings by Tolkien.
Yes.
Which was really an eye opener.
Sure.
To me. It was the first fantasy book I ever read, and then I started really absorbing a lot of my favorite author is probably Isaac Asimov, and I've read everything that he's written.
Actually, that's one of my first memories is like
the Foundation series and the iRobot series. Just about anything that he has put on paper, I've read.
Right.
Other than the
Didn't
technical journals.
Edgar Rice Burroughs also write Tarzan?
He did. Edgar Rice Burroughs with the Tarzan,
Okay.
but the John Carter Mars, series was what got me hooked onto science fiction.
Okay.
And then,
Gotcha.
I Frank Herbert, the Dune series was a favorite of mine. I've read everything in that chronology.
Right.
It's really, I'm really sorry they made a movie of Dune because it was the worst movie, one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
So was John Carter.
Oh, it was horrible. It did it no service whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then also Poul Anderson. I don't know if you've ever read anything. So there's many different, and then I pick and choose different science fiction authors, but probably Isaac Asimov. I reread the Foundation trilogy, I think 3 times.
Right,
so I really like that.
Because I remember as a kid going downstairs and we had like a whole lot. You had all your books like lined up, and it was pretty much like 100% science fiction, and almost all Isaac. It was like
some really horrible stuff, but some really good stuff. So there's a lot of. So that's what got me hooked onto science fiction.
Now, were you reading before then, or is this something that you picked up at that time? Like, were you reading anything else, or you just...
Not really, no. I wasn't really... Nothing really had hooked me before that. I mean, that was kind of just an epiphany, if you will. This is what I wanted to read, so... And,
did you get into comics at all?
No.
Yeah.
I never had... none of the Marvel stuff. I mean, I was aware of them, but I just, it was not.
You could have made me some money.
I know, I probably could have if I bought them. I was more into the sports things. But there wasn't a lot of good sports literature being written at that time.
Right.
But other than other than that, so
your favorite sci-fi author is
probably Isaac Asimov.
Yeah,
is probably
yeah,
my
yeah,
favorite.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And going to about Star Wars.
So that was high school, and then what about like in college? Did you?
Yeah, like I said, Tolkien, and
Yeah.
that is what I read in college.
Right.
I wasn't even aware of fantasy. That type of thing. I thought that was an amazing collection. The whole Lord of the Rings and Hobbit.
Right.
That was really another one that was kind of a standard that I really found fascinating. There's a lot of fantasy stuff that I've read that I didn't care for.
Right.
But that was one that was just hit me hard.
Yeah. Good. So then after college, after the service.
Yeah, in the military, not a lot of time to do. Well, we did have a lot of time to do reading. I think I found some other. I think I read some of. If I remember, I think that's when I discovered Asimov when I was in the military, and then we could get the stuff at the library on bases. And
so they did have books at the bases.
Oh yes, we had actually printed paper and everything. And it just, this was not.
Where were you stationed?
We weren't shooting muskets or anything like that.
Okay.
It was.
Where were you stationed at?
I was stationed in Turkey for a year and a half. This was during the Vietnam era. Then I was transferred back to the United States and stationed at Fort Devens in Massachusetts, where I happened to meet Todd's mother, and the rest is history.
Rest is history, right.
Yeah, almost 48 years ago.
Yeah.
And then after... Then I went into the business world, and I always read, recreationally, but nothing, I didn't pour into it that much. But I do remember in 1977, in the spring of 1977, sitting in my office in Cincinnati. I was working in Cincinnati at the time, and I had a copy of Time magazine that came out, I assume, in the beginning of May.
Okay.
And the cover story was about Star Wars.
Right.
And I wish I had that copy of Time magazine now. It was either Time or Newsweek, but I believe it was Time. And I opened it up to the article, and it was a full-page picture of an X-wing fighter.
Okay.
And I was hooked. I mean, I said, I got to see this movie.
You got to see this movie.
And that was...
So did they actually... Do you know if they described it on the magazine? Like, did they say X-Wing fighter, or they just...
I think, I don't remember what the description was. It was one of and I read a lot of, how they did the special effects. There was a lot of models and, and just an amazing amount of detail that they put into the models to see a Star Destroyer, that's only maybe 6 feet long, and
looks like a mile.
It looked like they made it look like a mile, and how they did the starfighters and all the other craft, and how they did the sound effects. Really primitive by today's standards. But it was amazing. So
before we get into Star Wars, though, like, what were some of the movies coming out at that time? Like, when did 2001 come out?
Well, that came out in
77 too, or
no? That came out in had to be before 1970 because I saw it when I was in the military. So I think it was 69.
1968.
68. There you go. So thanks.
That was
Aaron. That was quicker that time. That was good.
Yeah. Thank God
better.
for the internet. Here,
right, exactly.
But yeah, that was really I mean, I saw it like 3 times because I didn't get it the first time.
Right. Most people don't get it the first time.
Yeah. When he was in that cube on Jupiter or whatever, I said, "What the heck is going on here?" But I did, I did understand what the author was trying to do at that point. But yes, that was another good one. Most of the people I remember taking wasn't your mother, but I took another
girl,
young lady to that movie. And she didn't like it at all. She had no idea what was going on, but I did like it. So I went back by myself.
Right, But like...
Is that the litmus test then?
Yes.
Bring your date to 2001, see how they react?
Right, exactly.
But there wasn't much else going on.
Like, what about like Buck Rogers? Was that...
That was more earlier. That was
TV, right?
That was on. Oh, that was a movie. They made movies. Okay. They made movies back in the 30s and for Buck Rogers. Oh yeah.
and Flash Gordon
and those kind of things.
Yeah.
But I never got into those until I read
the books.
Right.
Okay.
I really think that there was something to it. So
all right. So you read the Time Newsweek article. You say, okay, I got to see this movie. You're in Cincinnati. So
I don't remember the first, the movie theater I went to, but I do remember saying, "This is fantastic."
Yeah.
So and obviously it didn't get the. It got a lot of fantastic reviews, and some people, wrote it off as a space cowboy,
right?
That kind of thing. But I thought it had a great story, great characters,
right?
Just somebody that could imagine that other universe at another time in a different galaxy. That was, pretty amazing. So.
Right.
So there really wasn't much that you could compare it to at the time.
No, there was no. That was setting the standard. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you see it multiple times when you're like?
Boy, I don't remember. I think I did. I think I saw it at least twice.
Right. Yeah.
And then, and it wasn't until the next one came out. The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
I remember going to see that.
I remember going to see it.
But you were born in 1975, so
I was 5.
Yeah. So you were 5. Yeah, that we went to see that.
Yeah.
And then The Empire Strikes Back, obviously, is.
I remember. I don't know if it was a replay, but we were in Massachusetts and we saw it with Christopher.
Oh, that's right.
Or my cousin Chris.
I do remember that.
Yeah, and we went and saw it, and I remember that.
Yeah. So that was. So that's how the family got hooked, and Todd. Yeah. The hook set deeper in Todd, I think, with Star Wars. Although I still love the movies.
Yeah.
I didn't. We started this whole. Got him rolling on his odyssey here.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean, like, again, like what George did is not like something that's totally earth-shattering, but it was, he took a lot of different elements, which makes it unique in Star Wars.
And I'm surprised because he did it with Lucasfilms, right?
Yeah, it was
his own thing because nobody else, another major studio would support that.
That's right. No, he shopped around a couple times, and nobody wanted.
Nobody wanted to touch it because it was different,
Yeah.
So.
Now, Heather, you recently watched A New Hope. So,
True.
Did you find anything new when you watched it this recent time?
I did. It probably won't be at all interesting to anybody but me, but I'm going to share it anyway.
Right.
Here we go. Hey, it's your show.
Woo,
let's do it.
Take it over. So, as I've mentioned before with my brother's passing, I'm the administrator to his account, or to his estate. So I've been going through a lot of paperwork, and I found a sheet of paper that had some usernames listed on it, and it was some letters and numbers, and it was TK421, and I'm like, I have no idea what that is. Until... Because all the previous times I had watched it, they're letters and numbers. You don't pay attention.
Oh, come on, Heather. They all mean something.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all good. It's all good.
Cone of shame. But yeah, and so then I literally paused the movie with my parents, and I'm like, oh my gosh!
TK421, why have you left your posts?
Oh, man. So that was fun. Just from when you rewatch anything, you really start to, because sometimes you watch things and you don't catch everybody's character's name because there's like no vowels in it, so you don't know like what they're saying or things like that. So so that's definitely something that stood out. Is just you just pick up on references that you yourself wouldn't, but someone else in your life has mentioned kind of casually or something, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's where it came from.
Right, exactly. So you got TK421 out of that.
Yes.
That's awesome. There you go. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think just looking back at it too, I think like even when you watch it now, 41 years later, it still holds up.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's one of those movies where, you know, like when you go back and you watch an old movie, like, it didn't age well. Or like, you know, when from a gaming perspective, when you play like, oh, I really played this game, I really like it, I'm gonna go pay it back. It's like, oh, those graphics were horrible, or like those controls are horrible, or something like that. But like, I feel like when you watch Star Wars, especially A New Hope, it's like, I just feel it really holds up because it's a lot practical than, you know, a lot of CGI or anything like that. You know,
there were also characters you could relate to too.
Yes,
you know, the young man trying to find himself and get away from his
parents
or his aunt and uncle.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and you know, you wonder how, you know, Alec Guinness got a part in that. You know, maybe he was looking for a buck. I don't know. You know.
Well, but he was in a what's that really famous one? The two Bridget or the war movie.
Yeah, it was the
Bridge
on
Too Far?
the River. No, it was
a Bridge on the River Kwai.
Bridge on the River Kwai.
Yes,
He was the prisoner of war movie. Yeah. So he was in a lot of movies. You know,
yes.
But he was. I think they won an Oscar for that. So,
and then I mean, Peter Cushing was the horror movie guy.
Yes,
which is also kind of a weird.
Yeah,
you know, thing as far as like
well, this is a new genre that nobody else had done, so it didn't. You know,
right, exactly.
Well, not nobody else had, but it hadn't been. Yeah. When did they start doing Star Trek? When was that? When did that come out? Is it?
I want to say 66.
Okay.
Star Trek the movie did not
1966.
The TV show. You know, and that.
So
and
were you into that?
No. I thought it was a little too campy, and
okay,
you know, it was. There really nothing in it that interested me. Really.
Right.
So, the first couple of Star Trek movies were. I mean, Ricardo Montalban in a muscle suit just as a that didn't make it. You know,
right.
So,
yeah.
But
well, that's what I think. Again, like the movie happened because of Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know, because now because of that, everyone's like, oh, now we got to do science fiction, which it became cool, you know. But you never were into Star Trek?
No, not really. I do like some of the recent movies.
Yes.
Probably the best TV science fiction was Battlestar Galactica. I really like that.
Yeah.
So,
but that also was a byproduct of Star Wars,
right?
You know, like,
right.
Yep. Awesome. So what do you think, what's your opinion on like how Disney is handling the franchise now that it's been sold over? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think there's some good stuff come out. I mean, I really like the prequel,
Rogue One?
Rogue One, yes. Yeah. Rogue One, I thought, to me, was the best one that's come out in recent years. I like the first Daisy Ridley one.
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens, and I like the New Hope.
Yeah.
The other ones, I'm still not sold on yet. So we'll have to see.
We have to revisit that, right? Yeah, exactly. So Rogue One.
Rogue One is by far and away my favorite one, recent one.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Then of course,
did you get a chance to see Solo?
Yeah, we saw Solo together. Yep. Yeah. And you basically said, "Well,
I got to see it again because I didn't. It was too disjointed. I just didn't pick it all up on. So for me anyway. So
yeah, the thing that I like too is that since this we've been able to go see movies together, which has been.
Yeah,
a fun experience.
It has been. It's a good bonding
awesome.
and everything else. So
because with the prequels, I mean, well, we're I don't think we went. I mean, we did. I think we did, but
I think that was more you. I mean, I've seen them. I don't remember going to see the prequels. Yeah. In the theater, I do. I have all the DVDs, but
right. So. I mean,
it's just something that happened to you.
Yeah.
You were catatonic the whole time.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No. I mean, for me, that was like at that point of the prequels, I was all in at that point.
Right.
Yeah. But it's been good since with the new ones because there was such a break.
Yeah.
I was like, we have to, so we made a point.
They're more believable characters than just, computer graphic characters.
Yes,
like Jar Jar Binks.
No love for Jar Jar, huh?
But yeah, I mean, I think that's the other thing with Disney taking over. It's kind of hard. We still don't see like what the full picture is, and
I think obviously Disney is a huge corporation, and their primary motive is to make money for their investors. So
right,
and if something is going to make money for them, they're going to keep pushing it.
Right, absolutely.
I don't think they're necessarily doing it for the artistic end of it. They want the dollars. So
yeah. All right, so I know one other franchise that you like from a science fiction perspective. I know you've seen Avatar 6,000 times.
Yeah. Well, maybe not that many, but probably 20 times. I've seen. I do like Avatar.
Yeah,
I do think, and I thought there was going to be another one coming out. I think. But I'm not sure if that's in the making.
Cameron has filmed some. I don't know. It just keeps on getting delayed.
Okay,
but
aren't there more the number of films is growing too?
I think it's up to 4.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just let one out already, man.
Yeah, no, I Avatar was another one that set a different standard.
Yes.
So.
Visually, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's really good. What other science fiction are you into now? Now, as far as reading or what movies?
Right now, I haven't. I go to a bookstore or look online, and I don't see anything. So I start rereading the older ones. That's that's what I like.
Right.
So
exactly.
I haven't found anything.
You don't have a new author.
No,
or something
I don't have a new author at this point.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Okay. You go to the standby. You're like, I know this is good. Yeah.
So, and you do, especially the amount of years after it. It does have a new. You see things just like Heather was saying. You see things you've never seen before.
Yeah.
And when you read it for a second or third time, you say, "Oh, okay, now it makes sense."
Right. So. Exactly. I mean, I think that's why Star Wars is so resonated with people because it's just that it's you see different things every time, and that's what makes it special.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I got a question.
Okay.
So obviously we know Todd has a great love for stormtroopers and the dark side.
Right.
So, Dad, where do you stand in favorite Star Wars character?
Oh, favorite Star Wars character.
Oh, favorite Star Wars character. I probably have to say Han Solo. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. I like that he's got many different dimensions and he's pretty much of a crook,
Right, yeah.
He's got a larcenous soul. So,
right,
so I do like that character,
Yeah.
And I like his I do like the...
Well, you do like Harrison Ford.
I do like Harrison Ford because I do like the...
the Patriot games.
The Jack Ryan when he played, the Tom Clancy character.
And a little Indiana Jones.
I thought he was, and some other stuff that's probably not well known. I like, Witness is a great movie.
That is a good movie. Yeah.
Did you see him in Blade Runner?
I did. I haven't seen the new one yet. I can't,
oh yeah, that's right. We haven't seen. I haven't seen it.
I like Blade Runner.
I think it's worth your time if you like the original.
I love the original.
Well, yeah, you're not going to be disappointed. At least I wasn't.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The original Blade Runner I see maybe 4 times a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's another one that is really deep.
I mean, that's another. Great character development, and the whole idea of the
replicants,
replicants that have a limited lifespan, because they're super intelligent. I think that was the whole reason why they gave them a short lifespan because otherwise it would take over the world, which they tried to do. So.
People tend to do, exactly.
So I do like.
Yeah. So Han Solo, huh?
Han Solo's.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, okay.
All right, that's a good question, Heather.
Yeah.
I am here.
That's right.
It's a family learning experience.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, now, what did you think? Okay, let's go back. I mean, you said Solo was a little fast and a little disjointed, and you want to see it again. What did you think? Did you feel that movie added anything to Solo? Or
no? At this point, no. I don't think it did anything for his character.
Right?
Really,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will see it again. I'm waiting for it to come out on DVD,
Of course,
then I'm going to sit and watch it two or three times.
Yeah.
Like I have with the Last Jedi, and it made better sense the third time I watched the Last Jedi than it did. There was some stuff I still don't get.
Right, yeah.
The whole Princess Leia floating in space thing.
See?
Well, apparently...
This is my dad, people. That's what I'm talking about.
Apparently, there's an audiobook that I'm going to be listening to next on Audible, audibletrial.com/WSTR, that it's called like The Last Jedi Expanded Edition.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right.
And it basically includes deleted scenes from the movie more than you see on the Blu-ray, and it hopes to answer a lot of those questions.
Yeah, no,
and the other thing, they keep portraying gravity in space. Things are falling down.
Let's talk about the bombs, people.
The bombs dropping.
It's
no
gyroscopes, obviously.
Yeah. There is an explanation.
Okay, there is an explanation.
Aaron, can you give the explanation about the bombs?
Magnetic, or
I believe it's because the ship has its own gravity field, and so they fall. But then, as soon as they exit the gravity field, they still have momentum. Yeah. So they just keep traveling in that direction as if they were falling.
Right. But you can't see my dad, but he's cringing. So.
That's part of the fun of Star Wars.
Right.
It's just making a bunch of plot hole spackle wherever it needs it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
writing it on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, are there any other characters that you really gravitate towards, or is it Solo?
Well, I do like Chewbacca. I do like because they are joined at the hip.
They are. Yes.
I do like some of the newer characters. I do like Daisy Ridley as
right.
So I think she's done a fine job as that. But no, I don't have any other ones that just stand out at this point. All right. So
cool. Yeah. Awesome. Any closing thoughts?
Well,
Aaron?
I think Heather has something.
Oh, Heather.
She's got to speak up, Heather.
I have my hand up, people. All right. As the resident droid person of the podcast, are you a R2-D2 fan, a BB-8 fan, anxiety-driven C-3PO, kind of annoying K2SO?
Oh, what droid do I like?
Do you like R2, BB-8, C-3PO? What's your favorite droid?
Probably the original R2-D2. I do like R2-D2.
That is the correct answer.
I still haven't figured out how people understand what droids are saying.
That's another Star Wars thing. You just
I don't understand the language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some beeps boops. Could go wrong. Could go wrong in interpretation. But
I mean, at least in Luke's X-wing, he has like that little readout display whenever R2 talks. Yeah. Because apparently there's no sound in space. So.
Well, sound waves don't travel in space.
Yeah.
Again, another Star Wars thing. I mean, there's like people that can understand it, and then there's other people that can't. So
right.
Because
maybe some of them have like a babblefish in their ear.
Right. Yeah. Like Ray picks up on what BB-8 says right away.
Yeah.
She's like,
so it must be a universal language. That's the only thing I can think of that. And do all droids speak the same language?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
C-3PO doesn't beep.
Yeah.
So.
But he translates like 7,000 different languages. So.
But, okay, here's the other thing. Like, how many times does C-3PO actually translate for people? It's like, it's very minimum, Like, even with the Ewoks, he's like, it's a primitive dialect, but I think they're saying something, it's like, well, that's your job, dude.
They're using him like off-label.
What's that?
They're using him off-label. He never really does a lot of protocol work, but
No, he has
just put him into use.
He has the most anxiety for a droid, just like, but yeah.
Poor thing.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, what do you, here, we'll close with this. What do you want to see, coming out of Disney Star Wars? Like what do you want to see? Like what would get you excited to, in Star Wars or that kind of thing?
I mean, I do like the back and forth interplay between Kylo Ren and Rey. Rey.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's got to develop further.
So what would you want to see in 9 happen?
I would like to see them more of a
like a power couple?
Power couple.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So kind of like Han and Leia.
Yeah.
Where they were meant to be together, but they can't stand each other. So so I think that'll do it. I think they'll play on that because that's the big thing. I think the throne room battle scene in The Last Jedi was one of the most amazing things they did on that movie.
I would agree with that. Yes.
So,
depending on who you ask, the only amazing thing.
That's true.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
That and the Crystal Foxes,
I do like some Crystal Foxes.
I thought what?
Heather, I'm sorry. Yeah. What do they eat? Salt. Lots of salt.
Obviously.
That's why they crystallized,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you want to see some?
Yeah, I want to see, but I want to see them develop. Like the Rebel Alliance. I think because they kind of gave it a little tease with the kids in the stable.
Right.
I want to see that built up more, so it's more of a force and not just some bunch of ragamuffins running around. And
exactly.
Because and then of course Kylo is going to run the Empire then.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Awesome. So that's great. Any other final questions for my dad, man?
Are you proud of your son's
I am
developing museum?
It's grown on me, but I can see why he loves this stuff.
Right,
I really do. I understand the passion. So it's and
were there any moments of doubt, like when the future to be Mrs. Hoffman walked in on Todd constructing cabinets to hold his Star Wars figures?
That was that was pretty wild. She thought that he was building a nice cabinet for my mom. It had nothing.
No, that's for
that boy ain't right.
That was an engineering feat because we built it in the garage, or he built it mostly in garage, or he couldn't get it in the basement. It's another plan ahead thing. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Measure twice, cut once.
But yeah, right, exactly. Well, and he's getting better. The other thing that's been kind of fun, he's been getting better at helping with putting on the TK.
Yes, the first time it was really, it was a struggle.
It was a struggle. The struggle was real for both of us, and we're cut from the same tree, so it's like I'm trying to be cool, he's trying to be cool. We're both trying not to get frustrated, but we're like, this is not working the way we.
Son, I'm going home.
You're on your own.
I didn't sign up for this.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, I do understand the passion. There are some people at the end of the spectrum here that I just don't get, though.
Yeah.
But you got to keep it in perspective. Is what it is.
Exactly.
It is.
It's just a real. It's just a movie.
It's a movie.
Wait, it's not real? Dang it!
So,
I do something.
Heather just like
it's not real.
Yeah. So no, it's but it's a good escape. That's what science fiction is. And the neat thing is some of the things that they're discovering or they wrote.
Yeah. Even
back to Jules Verne, they're figuring, hey, this stuff's really happening, and it's going to happen. So
That's to me, that's what's really interesting about sci-fi is that as much as it is that kind of escapism to another world, it also teaches us more about our own world and how things are and how they might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, they are, they're opening up parts of the universe yet that we never knew existed.
Right.
Yeah. And there are galaxies far, far away.
There are galaxies far, far away. They might not be spaghetti westerns in space, but there are galaxies far, far away. Yeah.
Some of the technology for being so far advanced is pretty primitive. So anybody that can invent, faster than light travel, and it's got to do better than a a blaster. So.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway. So,
yeah. Okay, but Aaron, you bring up a good point. That's pretty much what science fiction is all about: is taking something that's not real, but really providing those kind of moral things, or like. Yeah,
there are. That is things about, especially the Star Wars franchise. Yeah. There is a good and bad.
Yes.
And good does overcome evil. So, that's.
Well, and against that's. I mean, George's original vision too, with like the Empire. I mean, that was basically Hitler. Space. It's like
even some of the uniforms, they look like Nazi uniforms. They said, I mean, you could have done a little better than that, because that's
a little bit.
So they look like.
Do you get it, guys? You get it yet?
Wink, 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 wink. Yeah. Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thanks again.
This was fun.
Yeah. Thanks again. You're gonna stick around for a little bit.
I will. I'll listen to the end of it. Here,
all right. Good. All right. So moving on to the news of the week.
And now the Star Wars news of the week.
So this dropped Tuesday, and it came from Collider, and it basically said, all Star Wars story spin-offs are on hold at Lucasfilm, What? I know. So Collider...
It's crazy talk.
I know. So there's been two that have been really kind of been swinging around for a while, and that's the Obi-Wan standalone movie and the Boba Fett film. And they said, nope, everything's on hold. That's because of the spin-off. Solo only scored 84 mil in an opening weekend, and has grossed... to date, 339.5 million worldwide in 4 weeks, which seems pretty decent. But for a Star Wars film like with Force Awakens, where it made 1.2 billion, and then a little bit after that, Lucasfilm's like, well, not totally true, but maybe, we're just going to focus on 9. So, Aaron, what do you think about that?
Well, we need to kind of sift through the weeds here, because did they ever officially confirm that there's going to be Obi-Wan or Fett film?
Nope. Lucasfilm has never officially announced anything.
So why are we all upset?
Because they're rumors, guys. Rumors.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And rumors are based on facts.
They're more true than news,
Yeah, I know.
I mean, on the one hand, did Solo at least make its money back? Do we know that?
With the 339.5 worldwide, I would say yes, because I'm sure this was an expensive film, because basically they filmed it twice, so I know it cost at least 200 mil.
Yeah, I'm trying to find what kind of budget it had. Budget was 275 million, so
broke even.
Basically, percentage-wise, like barely broke even.
Right. Yeah.
Which I'm sure is disappointing after the last few Star Wars films have mixed receptions, but still made quite a boatload of money.
Yes.
So I just hope that Disney doesn't take as a lesson from this that spin-off stories are bad and they don't perform well, because it's like, all right, look back at Rogue One. Like, that did tremendously well by many different measures. And I mean, this is the second spin-off film of a relatively recently required franchise. And it's like, you got so many irons in the fire that it's like, if one movie, it didn't even lose money, but if one movie isn't a knockout, it's like, okay, you've got, this one over here, that one over there.
Yeah.
Just wait it out a little bit.
Right.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Take some risks, please.
Yeah. Right. Don't just make cookie cutter movies, and just appease the fans, nor try anything new. You got to try some stuff new, Heather, what do you think about this news?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in a place of, I think we all just need to calm down a little bit. In that, I think if they happen, that's awesome. If they don't, well, that's kind of a bummer, because I think as fans, it would be fun to see those films. I think for me, the biggest issue I've noticed is, well, they keep blaming it on everything being so close to other things and oversaturation. And I think as a Star Wars universe, we're not against oversaturation. I think we want quality films.
Yeah.
And so whether Solo was too close to Last Jedi, I don't know. Because I'm on the camp, I liked both. I don't know.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Solo had a rough front end with having to be made twice, and
and really it was very public too. That was the other thing. Like a lot of people knew. Oh, it's in trouble. So people would stay away from that, possibly.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted it to be pushed back to December, and that's what I expected they were going to do, because you come out 6 weeks after Last Jedi leaves theaters, something like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and you're releasing right around when Infinity War comes out, and Deadpool,
yeah,
and Incredibles 2, and it's like,
yeah.
I think it was a marketing and release error more than anything else, especially so soon after The Last Jedi. I think they should have let that controversy for what it was die down a bit before releasing it. Maybe would have done better, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're the ones with the job, not me. So maybe they know something I don't.
Right. That's a great segue into our next item, Aaron, because the controversy is real, because there's a Twitter campaign, RM Last Jedi, which means remake Last Jedi. So I pulled this off their website, and basically it says, this is a campaign to provide Disney an opportunity to course correct with the Star Wars franchise. Fans are completely divided, and the core goal of Star Wars has been abandoned. The goal is not to make one half of the fandom happy over the other. It's to make the film that the fandom as general as whole enjoys. The hero archetype of the original films is what made these so great, and made characters that everyone could relate to regardless of their background and beliefs. No longer having this core element, along with the poor storytelling, has made the franchise device in disarray. The producers behind this have pledged to cover the budget, but you can pledge an amount to have your voice heard. You do not have to put financial or personal information, just an email address and a pledge. What do you think about this noise?
Oh my. You know what this made me think of? Because I'm thinking, when has not protest, what's the thing you sign? Petition. When has a petition ever actually changed anything?
Not in entertainment.
No.
Especially, perhaps it's changed a lot of things, but never in entertainment.
Yeah.
But what makes me think, I'm just trying to sit back and think, okay, how does something like this happen and actually catch steam on the internet? And I'm thinking back a few years to, there's this series of science fiction games called Mass Effect.
Yes.
And hugely popular, very well received. First one came out, just like blew everybody's minds. Second one came out, really good sequel. And so a lot of hype was being built for the third one. And the gist of it is that you create your own character in the first game.
And those actions go forward in the other games.
Right. Yep. They carry forward to the next game and then to the next game. And based on your decisions, you can have vastly different characters and outcomes. And basically, there's a lot of complaint about the third game, because essentially they don't really take your decisions into account when it comes to the ending. Instead, you play however you want up until the ending. And at the ending, you basically just make 3 different choices.
Right.
Whatever.
Door 1, door 2, door 3, basically.
Yeah. A lot of people hated that. And so much so and they raised such a stink on the internet that the developers, BioWare, they basically, it was the first time when nerds strike back on the internet,
right?
And they're like, "You guys didn't do this right. Change it."
Right.
And BioWare listened. They put out a patch, an optional downloadable patch to basically fix the ending and explain it a bit more. And, you know, it helps soothe things over. But I'm thinking that's like the first time something like that actually happened. And I think that's why something like this is happening with The Last Jedi, where you're actually getting people to think that, I mean, is the petition asking for Disney itself to remake it, or
no? I think they
like
want to remake it. Yeah, they're getting some backing by some producers saying that we'll fund that and make that movie. I don't know.
Are we going to remake the problem with prequels too? Then,
yeah, right.
I don't know.
Yeah, can we throw that in there? I mean,
it's like asking. It's like taking complaint with the Sistine Chapel, and you're like, okay, I'm going to make my own Sistine Chapel.
Right.
Well, and this is not to say that The Last Jedi is not without error or whatever. I'm just saying a huge production involving many, many people over a long period of time, thousands, if not millions of man hours.
Yeah.
It's like, how there's no way you can get to the level of The Last Jedi without the huge Hollywood machine churning away.
Yes.
For several years with the bankroll of Disney. And it's like, if you really want to make a fan remake of that, you can do that, but it is not going to turn out how you think it will.
No, right. Well, and again, like, Disney's not out to make a bad movie. They're out to, like you said earlier, Dad, it's like they're trying to make like their investment back. So it's like they're going to put it in. They're going to put the money in, and the time. It's like all that time and effort. It's not like, they're going to just, we're going to try to upset the fans and make a bad movie. They're trying to turn a profit, So I don't know. It's just as what we talked about last week with George kind of going, what he said his original intent was to kind of go more into like midichlorians and kind of get into almost the biology of the Force and stuff like that. I'm telling you, that's going to split that fan base just even more if he tried to do that, Yeah. And to Heather's point, it's like George made the prequels and not everybody liked that, and we're quite a few years out from them, and still there's a lot of people that love them. So it's like you can't win them all, and by remaking it, it's not going to retrocon Last Jedi like it doesn't exist. I don't know. It seems bizarre.
Seems to be very silly.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think the whole Star Wars are they trying to develop a whole new fan base, or are they just building on guys like you who have grown up with it and made but you have a whole new generation, the millennials, that are they buying into it, or is this just going to die as your fan base gets older? I don't so
I don't know, because I mean, am I a millennial? Am I
don't know.
part of this movement? Because it's like, maybe if you want to put that label on me, but It's like, I don't want to remake The Last Jedi.
Right.
I thought there was a lot of good things about it and a lot of bad things too. Yeah. But it's like, am I a part of this? No. Yeah. So, I mean, who exactly are they representing?
Right.
We don't. I mean, we don't even have like a person to say like, this guy's leading the charge.
Yeah.
It's too diffuse. That's why I don't think it's going to work.
Well, to answer your question, yes. I think they're trying to build, again, George's original vision was the 12-year-olds, like, girls, boys growing up, trying to find their way. And I think Disney's being strategic as far as having a women protagonist, and, and Sure. I think that's smart. I think it's smart. But I do think they're trying to build a new fan base, and some of the angst is even like The Last Jedi. Like Kylo Ren should have just winked at the camera when he's like, "Let the past die." Like it's almost like too meta. Like just just like, hey, 40 to 60-year-old fanboy girl. Like let the past die. I think there's just too much respect for the material, though, that they want to kill it off. Yeah. I mean, they're making a Star Wars park.
They proved, or somebody proved, that they could do it with Rogue One. I mean,
yes.
I mean that to me. Yeah. I mean, the characters were well developed. They had a great storyline.
Yeah.
It actually made sense. So, but now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think, though, they're trying to build a whole new fan base. Yeah. I mean, yeah. We shall see. So there you go. If you want to follow that, it's RM Last Jedi on the old Twitter. If you want to pledge some money towards remaking Star Wars.
Or just an email address.
Okay, and finally, the blaster used by Harrison Ford's character in the Han Solo in the film of Return of the Jedi has sold in New York for $550,000. So the weapon, made mostly of wood, had previously spent more than 30 years in the possession of film's art director James Shope. I think I'm saying that right.
Was it the same one that was in the original one, or
no? It's the one that was used in Return of the Jedi. Okay, it sold more than a lightsaber used by Mark Hamill in the first two Star Wars films, which fetched a cool $450,000. Mr. Shope was nominated for an Oscar for his work on the film, so in art direction. But pretty interesting. It is pretty high dollar for a piece of plastic and wood, but
I think everybody kind of has that fantasy where some relic stored in the attic might be worth an untold fortune. I don't think that's ever going to happen to me, but hey, it would be nice.
You never know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Heather, would you drop 450,000 or five? Well, no, this was 550.
Yeah.
For
For the original R2D2? Yes. No, I'm kidding. I do not have that kind of money, people.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if I had that kind of money loosely, I mean, if it was like a legit thing from the original trilogy, it would be super tempting.
Right.
But it's a lot of money. But I think what it actually tells me, just based on all of the conversation we've just had, Star Wars fans are Star Wars fans, and they are committed, and so they're going to support the thing that they love. And for me, this whole remake The Last Jedi thing, I'm happy that we've got people that are passionate about something.
Right.
But there is a point where we do have to, as Jack said earlier, it's a movie, people. It's a movie.
Right.
Calm down. Yeah. There will be more. Things will change. And that's the beauty of the Star Wars universe, is there's a complexity to it, that there's things you're going to love that other people hate, and there's things that you're going to hate that other people love.
Well, and it goes back to like art, like what's the value of that painting, or what it's
only worth what somebody's willing to pay for.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so somebody that resonates with, I'm going to drop that kind of cash, but it is pretty substantial considering that's not even the one from A New Hope. That's like Return of the Jedi one, which still is, pretty cool.
Well, that's the Star Wars movie with all the budget. So it actually looks good.
Right. So, exactly.
It just makes me wonder how they divvy up props and such at the end of a movie. Because somebody has the Bluesmobile in their garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some of them from older movies, they did it. They just gave them away or destroyed them or something because they didn't think they'd have any value. Yeah. Or there's no room in the closet anymore, so they get rid of them.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, even some of the, what they did, in the original too, was a lot of what they call kit bashing. Was even like with some of they would just go to the film production, and be like, we need these coats, and just put like different things on them, and that was it. But then, like you said, they didn't keep it afterwards, or they had to return those things without all the different add-ons that they added, on the material. But yeah, you're right. I mean, they never really built a full Millennium Falcon until Force Awakens. Right. It was all parts and
sets.
Just sets. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But makes me wonder what's in Jim Henson's garage.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Well,
probably a lot.
Nothing right now.
His house must be fun on Halloween.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Moving on to Katina Chat. All right, Aaron, you got something geeky going on this week or what?
No. It's mostly just cruising along in the Outer Rim.
Yeah.
Hard at work, listening to Mark Thompson and his wonderful voice doing Grand Admiral Thrawn and many others with Heir to the Empire.
Right. And just
and you know what? That's enough Star Wars for me for this week, I think.
Right. And slaying bugs, man. You're like you're like Starship Troopers, man. You're slaying big bugs on the Outer Rim.
Hashtag Merc work.
Those bugs don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, Heather, what's going on with you? Anything cool, geeky?
So I attempted to sit down and watch Spaceballs.
Okay.
I don't know why. Yeah, it's just as stupid as I remember.
That's the point.
So I did that. But mainly I am prepping and packing for my trip out to California.
When's that again?
I leave on Thursday.
Nice.
So that'll be in about 4 days.
Yeah. If you do the math, that adds up. Yeah. Awesome.
So
that's great.
Well, good luck. Have fun. Stay safe.
Yeah, can you jump the fence and just take a bunch of pictures of Galaxy's Edge so we can get some inside scoop?
Absolutely. I'll see what I can do.
Right.
Right on.
Jack, anything geeky or
nothing geeky? Just awaiting the birth of our next granddaughter. Todd's going to be an uncle again, we're any minute.
Hooray!
So,
Hooray! Yeah. So my sister Joy is expecting her second, and it's going to be a baby
any
girl.
second now.
Yeah. But not here yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
No. It's still in the garage.
Right, exactly.
So other than that, no.
Yeah. I recently got a blaster, DLT-19 to be exact, 3D printed. So I am currently painting it and getting it prepped to put it all together. So that's what I did this weekend. So
that's pretty cool.
Oh my!
That's a big one.
It's rather large. It's based off one of the old German machine guns. So
like an MG34, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. So see, you're the gun expert. That's right. Yeah.
That's an MG.
Yeah.
Either 42 or 34.
Yeah.
I think depends on which specific.
Right.
But
yeah. It's amazing. Like in A New Hope. You know, when they're attacking the Death Star.
Yeah.
They have. I was in Hawaii a couple months ago. And if you look at the battlements on the USS Missouri, they're the same ones that are on the Death Star. They have the same.
Oh, yeah?
20 millimeter cannons. They look exactly alike. So,
hey, we've seen this.
Yeah, so he just used what he knew and put them on the, So.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. You're like, hey, I've seen on the Death Star.
Well, I heard that's what they did with Solo. It's like, oh, there's a German flak cannon. Let's give it legs.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
when and even in the The Empire Strikes Back, when they come into the cavern and they set up the cannon, that's a recoilless rifle from World War II.
There we go.
So it's the same, So
yeah.
So nothing new. So.
And what's Solo's blaster? The DL-44. What is that based off of?
C-96 Mauser.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. They just kind of, we're going to put a scope on it, put a little thing here, and it's
a couple little buttons. And
now
it's a blaster.
Now it's a sci-fi blaster.
Yep.
Pew 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 pew. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Heather, you want to close this out?
Sure thing. So, well, thanks again for listening to another episode of World War II History, or also known as WSTR Galactic Public Access. A very special thank you to Mr. Jack Hoffman, aka Todd's dad.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
But please check us out on social media, WSTR Media, all lowercase, all one word. We want to hear from you, so comment, tweet, rate us on iTunes. You can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR, which is 630-557-9787. Leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on an upcoming podcast. You can also check out our complete catalog of episodes at www.wstrmedia.com. And that's all the ways to get a hold of us. Next week, episode 78, looks like we're going to discuss Mr. Anakin Skywalker.
Maybe, yeah.
And all of his angsty
the linchpin
glory.
of the whole Star Wars saga.
The Big Daddy.
Yep.
Lovely. All right, well, shall we finish it like we always do, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Now this
is
podcasting.
Yay! Man, 77 episodes.
77. It happened, people.
That's pretty good, I think.
It's
good start.
Yeah, it's a good start.